Hare Krishna.
सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय।
We'll decide the entire full Mangalachala. This is a new week beginning, that's why. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिने इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चातदेशतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती इति नामिने श्रीवार्षभानवी देवी दायिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाढ्य श्री रूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्ध अपसिद्धांत ध्वंत हारिणे। नमो गौर किशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्य मूर्तये विप्रलम्बर सांबोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते। गौराविर्भाव भूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्ट सज्जन प्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण द्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। जयतां सुरतौ पंगुं मम मंद मतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्य पदाम्भोजो श्रीराधा मदन मोहनो दिव्य वृंदारण्य कल्पद्रुमादौ श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्री श्री राधा श्रील गोविंद देवो पृष्ठालि सेव्यमान स्मरामि। श्रीमान रासरसारंभी वंशीवट तटस्थितः कर्षण वेण स्वनैर्गोपे गोपीनाथाय श्रेष्ठु नमः। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. We're continuing our discussion on Nectar of Devotion, chapter number 1, the characteristics of pure devotion service. We discussed about Kleshagni by reading Prabhupada's contents in the book. And today we'll see the PPT. And after that, we'll complete this chapter and then go further with that. So we discussed about pure devotion service, the Anukulyana part. Krishna should be pleased, intention should be to please him. And Krishna stands for Krishna and his various expansions. Krishna's paraphernalia and pure devotees. Anushilana means it's constant activity following the predecessor acharyas. Something like Tat Tat Karma Pravartanat and Satoviti. Then we discussed about Anya, other desires. Anya Vilasha, and Ita means the motivations. That means if the motive is just survival, which is the basic instinct, that is allowed. But if the motive is the purpose is something else, then that is restricted. That should be zero. So pure devotional service. This is a comparison. This is pure. There's no motive other than to please Krishna versus selfish motives. This is intended to please Krishna, not incidentally or accidentally or circumstantially pleasing Krishna, like that Brahmana, he was going. So he was carrying a kind of packet of mudi, puffed rice, desiring to eat it himself. And then, some wind came and it blew up. Immediately says, what did he say? Govindaya arpanamastu. I offer this to Govinda. So this was not something, which he had intended. But anyway, when he lost it, then better it go to God. So oftentimes in ISKCON, people say, Proji, घर पे एक sofa set है, मंदिर में लेंगे क्या? हम लोग बोलते व्हाट्सएप पे फोटो भेज दो, एक बार देख लेते हैं. फिर व्हाट्सएप पे फोटो भेजते हैं, फिर जाके एक भक्त को भेजते हैं, जाके देखो वो बैठने लायक है कि बैठने के बाद. तो वो सोफा सेट मंदिर आएगा तो क्या करेंगे बाकी? नया सोफा सेट घर पे आएगा ना, स्पेस क्रिएट होगा ना. तो टीवी, स्कूटी, whatever is done, we are done with. Now let it go to Krishna, because आम के आम गुठलियों के दाम. First we enjoyed it, and now also we get the pious credit by giving to Krishna. So Krishna also knows that. Krishna is not, somebody who doesn't realize that. When you give a brand new thing to him, and when you give an old used thing for, his servants and his guests, then he knows it. No? It's not that he is not recognized. He knows. He gives the intelligence to all the people who evaluate the market value of things. Market value लगता है ना. Now there are independent firms where you can take a car or a thing and tell इसका कीमत बताओ, and they will evaluate it. Land का भी होता है ऐसा, because owner is always asking more and the buyer is always saying less, so that just to reconcile it, they give a value. So that is incidentally pleasing Krishna. अब कुछ चक्कर में पड़ गया, पैसा फंस गया तो बोल दिया, ये निकल गया तो भगवान आधा आपका आधा मेरा, नहीं निकला तो आपका ही लॉस है आधा. जमीन पे केस चल रहा है तो दे दो, ISKCON वाले संभाल लेंगे. 90% of the ISKCON properties are complicated deals. Nobody gives a land पे एकदम, और लेगा तो क्या देगा? मुझे मंदिर बनाना है, इधर मंदिर बनना चाहिए, लिख के ले लेंगे 2 साल के अंदर मंदिर बनना चाहिए. यवत का जमीन है, तो दैट पर्सन पुट ऑल कंडीशन, गेट बनना चाहिए और मेरे लिए 1 क्वार्टर उधर बनना चाहिए और मंदिर बनना चाहिए. 1 साल के अंदर नहीं बना तो आई टेक इट बैक. So these are all conditional things. These are not for intentionally pleasing Krishna. These are some purposefully pleasing Krishna. It happens so often that, sometimes we just feel that this is what is pure bhakti. That is not pure bhakti. It's guided by pure devotee. It's not a whim of the mind. Mahat kripa bina konu karma bhakti nahi. Krishna bhakti dure rahu, samsara nahi chai. Mahat kripa, without the blessings of a pure devotee, konu karma bhakti nahi. Even chanting of the Hare Krishna requires siksha from a devotee. What is that verse? It says, Sampradaya vihinasya mantrastu nishphalam bhavat. If Sampradaya, you don't get the mantra and Sampradaya has no value. Right? So it has to be guided by pure devotee. Pure devotion service in another context, in just as a formula, it has 3 aspects. It is Guru or Agya. That means under whose blessing, whose permission is performed, Guru or Agya. Guru has either instructed us to do that or at least he has permitted us to do that. Sometimes he not instruct, but at least permit. So once I took a whole class on that. Instruction, blessings, permission, and at least what you can say, just NOC, no objection. Okay, you do it if you want to do it. I have no objection. I am not blessing. I don't know why you are doing it, but because it is not against the principle of bhakti, okay, you want to do it and do it. So, like sometimes, brahmacharis may want to do some things. I'll not give example what to do, because I deal with ashram situation, I give examples, then it becomes the news. And then it's just so they want to go somewhere, take some 2 counselors, yatra pe jana hai. 2 counselors ko leke kidhar yatra pe jana? Counsel yatra hai, बैच के लोगों का यात्रा, 2-4 लोगों का कहाँ, यू कैन कंबाइन विद समवन एंड गो, दैट्स नॉट इश्यू, बट और कहाँ जाना है, इतना दूर जाना है, उसमें जाना है, एटलीस्ट इट शुड बी एनओसी, ठीक है, जाना जाओ, इतना होना चाहिए, यू नो, दैट इज, so all these different levels are there, but at all levels, at least there is a guidance by a devotee, Guru Ragya, that is all there in that. And then it should be Bhagavad Priti Artham. It is intended to please Krishna. It is there for pleasure of the Lord. No other purpose. It is not that what I am going to get out of it. Bhagavad Priti Artham. And then how it should be performed? Okay, I give donation, and I give donation as per what my Guru says, and I give it for temple construction. So Bhagavad Priti Artham is there, and Guru Ragya is there. But third thing is also very important. Bhagavad Kankarya Rupam. That means the consciousness of I am the servant should be there. ऐसा नहीं मैंने भगवान को मंदिर के लिए डोनेशन दिया, इस मंदिर के लिए इतना दिया, उसके लिए इतना दिया, इसके लिए इतना दिया. Then it is not service, because service is done by the servant. Service is not done by an employee. Service is not done by any other identity other than the identity of being a servant. Bhagavad Kankarya Rupam. So when three are there, then only the lock of pure devotion service, the gateway to pure devotion service opens. Guru Ragya, Bhagavad Priti Artham, and Bhagavad Kankarya Rupam. So if you combine this, will equivalent to all these 6 factors one by one. So we should see that these 3 factors are matching when we do some service. That we're doing it for Lord, we are doing it in the mood of a servant, and trying to do it is thinking that I'm a servant, I'm doing this service. Rupam, Bhagavad Kankarya Rupam means in the role, in the mood, in the identity of being Bhagavad Kankarya. Kankarya means servant of the Lord. We'll read later about Kankaryam and Nashkarmyam. There's a difference between them. Nashkarmyam means Nishkam Karma, Kankaryam means being a servant. There are different things. Nishkam means I don't want anything, I'm just doing it for something. Let's do it. I don't want the fruit. Kankarya means that I'm doing it to please Krishna. I want the fruit not for myself, but for pleasing Krishna, I want to offer it. It's activity with body, mind, and word. There's no place for laziness or bhakti. Not idle meditation. It's using everything in Krishna's service, and it's free of jnana and karma. So based on this is a good exercise. Let's see quickly if 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are exactly 5 people. One I'll answer, then 6 only. One by one, all of you will get a chance. You raise your hand if you want to explain. Find out problem based on the PDC, Pure Devotion Services slogan. Any devotee want to take initiation from a pure Vaishnava Guru who has many disciples in the zone, because he will get better facility and a post in the local temple after initiation. So, what is the issue? What is the problem? Yes, Avishek. Yeah. His goal is not that, I will take shelter and I will serve Krishna under his guidance. The thing is that I'll be comfortable and I'll also get some post and better facility in the local temple. Okay. Aggressivity performs Garbhadhan Sanskar in order to beget Krishna conscious children. This looks okay, na? We often talk of it. Yes. Any problem? You think that it should be ideally done? Looks okay, na? Do you see any issue? Many devotees have performed in the past, no? They have prayed to Lord. So, Prabhupada says that to desire to get Lord as the Son, even Lord as the Son, what is Krishna consciousness, that is not as exalted as, we going back to God and serve Him there, rather than bringing the Lord here and say that you become my son, so that I get the joy of being father of, the Lord or father of a nice son. So, this is okay. It looks okay, but a pure devotee, he's okay even if the son, he does all the thing to get a Krishna conscious son, but he does it so that Krishna is pleased, Guru is pleased, Acharya is pleased, and he can do some service through that child. That is a service rendered in the form of a child, giving a child to the mission. It's very subtle, actually, not so easy to even fathom, because first thing is we never have been in that kind of situation. That's one thing. And otherwise also it looks so contemporary, so good. But actually, if the Lord wants that I have a bad son so that I can become more attached to Krishna, fine. King Anga, when he got Vena as the son, he says that the Lord's mercy upon me. Those who get good sons, they're actually unfortunate because they become attached to such sons. But because I've got a bad son, I'm very fortunate because I have no attachment and now I'm fully attached to the Lord. So good son is a curse, bad son is a blessing. That's his analysis. So, I mean, it's not that one want to beget children, not beget children, Krishna conscious children. The goal is that, okay, which way Krishna is pleased? Krishna is definitely pleased when they're Krishna conscious children. And that's why one does his best. But if it doesn't happen, it's also fine. Krishna has some other plan. A devotee keeps a picture of Goddess Kali on his altar because she can bestow wealth on her worshippers. Any problem? Bolo? Yeah, so wealth is the purpose, not pleasure of Krishna. Devotee promptly attend Mangal Arati every day to maintain his position on the temple council. It looks nice. There's no such condition in ISKCON world. But then, one may become more impressive than others if one attends it anyhow. Otherwise, there's no condition that to be in council or to attend Mangal Arati every day. If a person does it, what is the problem? The motive is wrong. So pure devotion service is very narrow in that sense. Only the present pleasure of the Lord is the criteria. A devotee regularly performs yoga asanas to keep himself fit for preaching Krishna consciousness. This is also a common thing. So if you become dependent or if you become, we feel that my health is a function of yoga asanas, then it's a problem. If it is there, then in the sense that, okay, let me be healthy. Again, it is the intention behind the activity. It's not just the activity, intention behind that. And then, sometimes if, if what happens if his service is changed, not preaching Krishna consciousness, he's serving in some other way, then what? Right? So one may keep himself fit, that is not outside the scope of pure devotional service. But the purpose of why I'm keeping myself fit should be very, very often reviewed. Oftentimes when we go in these side zones, the original purpose for which we start, it may take a side role. And we might get trapped into many other, aspects of that. A devotee performs fasting on every Ekadashi because he may receive the boon of getting a son. Krishna conscious son. Right? What is the purpose of Ekadashi? Madhav Titi Bhakti Janani. So purpose of Ekadashi is to enhance and increase the remembrance of Lord Govinda. That is the purpose. Any other thing we do, it's not the primary purpose. So Lord is the proprietor, Krishna is the proprietor of the senses and should not use anything of the master without the permission of the masters. Therefore, the devotee takes permission of the Lord before engaging any of his senses, and the permission may come through the devotees or through the scripture or through the spiritual master. Right? But Srila Prabhupada said that a pure devotee does not engage any of his senses without first taking permission from the Lord. And once Srila Prabhupada told his disciple, you don't move this pen from this place on the table to this place on the table without my permission. So, this is Bhakti. Okay, so Kleshagni Subda Moksha Laguta Krit Sudallabha Sandrananda Visheshatma Shri Krishna Akash. So, we saw that Kleshagni, so we will take it faster. It's the Shri Krishna Akarshan because Prabhupada writes this one line at the end of the sixth characteristic. And the chapter starts that the devotee does not desire even 5 types of mukti. Sahyajya, Salokya, Sarupya, Sarishti, Samipya. So that is why that liberation, not only the Sahyajya liberation, but liberation in the Vaikuntha by worshipping Lord Narayana is also in one way considered inferior to pure devotion service because pure devotion service does not involve any desire, including the desire to go to Vaikuntha. And that's why many of our acharyas write also. Varam deva moksham na moksha vadimva. Moksha vadimva is placement in Vaikuntha. Moksha avadhi. Wow. That, I don't want that also. Varam deva, then don't give the benediction. Varam deva moksham. No moksha. Liberation means saijya in that. No moksha vadimva. Moksha vadim means placing in four kinds of personal liberation. Not that also. Similarly, Narayana Parasarve, na kutashona vipati, swarga apavarga narkeshu. So the pure devotee desire to serve is so strong that even this kind of desires to be with the Lord, close to the Lord, have a form like Lord, is considered inferior. Although he may accept them, they are for service. They are not as much kind of condemned as Sayujya Mukti because there's no opportunity to serve. In these things, there's an opportunity to serve. But along with that, there's a consideration of one's own identity in some way. One has no material desire for sense or desire for sense gratification, and one desires to please the Lord by any of these four ways. But the intensity by which one wants to serve and please the Lord is comparatively lesser than what is found in the devotees in Vrindavan. Because there's no consideration of anything. They don't know only themselves, their identity. The only thing they know is how to please the Lord. So these kind of muktis, if one aspire, that aspiration is considered inferior than to aspire only for the service of the Lord. So this is the sloka. It says, Kleshagni Subhada, Moksha Lavta Krit Sudurlabha, Sandra Ananda Visheshatma, Shri Krishna Akarshani Cha Sa. 6 characteristics. Kleshagni Subhada, Moksha Lavta. So Kleshagni means pure devotion service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. So it has stages in which the relief comes. But in general, anybody, comes to temple or meets with a devotee, if he's really like experiencing the burning fire of material existence, he feels very soothed, coming to temple, just taking darshan, hearing kirtan, seeing the dance of devotees, that he feels very soothing of that, even externally. And when he hears the philosophy, then he becomes very satisfied. Because the Leela Katha of the Lord has a special taste, a special charm that satisfies him. Right? So he feels immediate relief. And the smell of the agarbatti, everything what he sees around, it kinds of enchants his mind, even at an external sense. And he feels very much different than the outside world. But then he has to continue practicing and come to at least the level of nishtha where one can find steady freedom from the distress and steady peace of the mind. Because till then he finds it, then he goes out and then he comes in, then going, coming is there. So Kleshagni can be experienced in one way, even in the first meeting with the devotees or first coming to the temple. But as one understands the process, then one can steadily experience it. At the level of nishtha, one's faith has grown up to a level where, irrespective or despite the material disturbances which affect one's body and mind, still one feels very blessed. One feels very, well situated. One feels very steady. Today morning, I had gone to meet Her Grace Satyavati Mataji in the hospital. So now she got connected in almost like 1990 or 91, like that. 31 years of service, 32 years, and not just ordinary service. Her house, or Jadavprabhu's house in Atharva, it has been the, what to say, the fertile ground where the seed of bhakti of all the devotees have grown. So that house is the place of pilgrimage for all the Pune devotees practically. Because at one time they were almost like they were cooking for 200 or 250 people for the Tuesday evening program. All great souls, Jayadvat Maharaj, Bhakti Maharaj, Loknath Maharaj, Giriraj Maharaj. And so many people who used to come from Pune Yatra, they used to go there. And they've stayed there. Radhanath Maharaj has come there, stayed there for several days. So that place is so powerful. And they have developed such a powerful group. All the current councils were there, Krishna Kishore Prabhu, Shankar Pandit, all those. They have all grown up there. And all the brahmacharis right from the beginning, Shri Gucharan Prabhu, Sundar Sham Prabhu, all others, those who are senior most, they all have grown up there. That's been the playground for them till the beginning. So much of service, and now she's undergoing treatment and so much issue. But in spite of that situation, just peaceful. The pain is there, but it's a different experience. So when a person is very advanced, then even in very adverse situation, one does not become disturbed. Even in the peak of material distress, a person manages to smile and accept it as Krishna's mercy. So it's not possible for very new people, but as people advance, and even this can be experienced with that. Shubhada means it's the beginning of all auspiciousness. Moksha Taglitz. Sudurlava Vishesha. So Kleshagni means it immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. Let us start from Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharnam Vraja. Prabhupada start the purport. There are Nityas with the devotees, there are sadhanas with the devotees, and there is sadhaka who are advancing toward the perfectional platform. They're not yet siddhas, they are sadhakas. They're not yet perfect. That. So this is an important thing, because oftentimes in our experience it happens. Anodi only says 91 page. The devotee should not expect immediate relief from the reactions of his past misdeeds. So when he saw the three kinds, Nityasiddha is beyond that. I mean, he comes to know what's happening around, but his consciousness does not get touched by all the material sickness. Like Prabhupada, in the last minute also he's translating, and all the body is going through that, and he's aware of that. At times even he will show that human-like feelings of sometimes irritation also. But then consciousness is totally there. And similarly for sadhana siddha also, he consciously knows he's separate from the body. Like for example, he's only a Kadam Kanan Maharaj. So not an ordinary person. No ordinary person can tolerate the pain of cancer and chant Hare Krishna. So his personal servant had come back to Vatsal Prabhu, so chanting. It was so painful. You can imagine Jayadvaita Maharaj saying, Maharaj, one Mahamantra is equal to one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, and Kadam Kanan Maharaj says, Maharaj, please don't give me this kind of concession. I want to set an example. And you can see that video, what he has made, 14-minute video. You all have seen? It's a classical video. And that is just 4-5 days before, he went. So that gives an idea of what consciousness he's into. Who can say that? He's experiencing the spiritual world, he's seeing the spiritual world, and he's saying, you come there, it's a great place, and you'll all be together. Who can say unless somebody's... So these are sadhana siddha devotees. Just because we see our devotees managing, our great sannyasis and great gurus managing and dealing with the things and people of this world, one should not feel that Babajis and Radhakund, they're all realized because they just take 3 times bath and just chant. And here these people are just moving around, preaching, teaching, and doing this and that. The consciousness is revealed. No? Who can, make such preparation? Jayadvaita Maharaj said he managed his departure. The size of the samadhi, the location of the samadhi, the depth of the samadhi, the size of the palanquin initially carried, who will carry the palanquin, timings of the schedule, and then items of the feast. Everything was documented before he left. Feast kya rahega wo bhi. Lemon juice cold, not normal water. And the Keshar Srikhand. I mean, just imagine this. So this sadhana siddha also, they apparently go through that pain, but they are beyond that. And then there is sadhaka. Sadhaka is a person who's actually, struggling. So then this question actually comes that, a devotee should not expect immediate relief. A devotee not perfectly freed from the resulted action should therefore continue to act in Krishna consciousness, even though there may be so many impediments. So and Prabhupada extended Krishna's statement in Bhagavad Gita. Which one? Sarvadharman Parityaja. So he said that if you surrender to the spiritual master at the time of initiation, you become free from all sinful reactions. So which is it? You become free from sinful reaction, or you continue to practice, or what? Are you actually free from all sinful reaction immediately when you surrender, or do we gradually become free? This question comes, huh? Meantime, sinful karma is continuing, or old reactions are continuing, but we are initiated also. So what exactly happens? He gives the answer. He is. Srila Prabhupada has given some other hint which could help us resolve this question. He has said that when the devotee surrender to Krishna, Krishna will take charge of the devotee's sinful reaction and use the devotee's sinful reaction for the best benefit of the devotee. So this resolves it. That means the devotee is free from sinful reaction and not free also. He is free in the sense that it is not automatic anymore. From the time the devotee surrendered to Krishna by taking shelter of his holy name, by taking shelter of the devotee, and later he received formal initiation. But as we discussed earlier, that formal initiation is a formality and the surrender in the heart is the substance. So from the time he says that, Krishna tomake hoye yadi bole ek bar, Chaitanya Charitamrita says that Krishna tomake hoye, that my dear Lord, I am yours. Krishna tomake hoye yadi bole ek bar, Maya baddha chute Krishna tate kore. Then immediately the Maya bandhan is lost and Krishna takes him beyond the material suffering. So now surrender is something very individual and very subjective and very personal, because we don't know how much others are surrendered or not. We have to see how much we are surrendered. That we can see. So when we surrender to Krishna, Krishna actually makes us free from all the sinful reaction, but still keeps a record of it. What is it? And if it helps us to advance in bhakti, then he allows it to come in our life. Because still he has to purify us. No? We have not yet completely surrendered. We have begun the process of surrender. So just like in any other education or learning, there is a test time to time periodically, so that it helps us to grow from one class to another. So similarly, Krishna also, keeps certain tests. Then he elevates. Ye level par ho gaya, next level. Ye ho gaya. Like for brahmacharya, join, na? So first thing is to leave the job. वो job छोड़ना भी कभी-कभी एकदम ऐसा, I myself remember when I was pressing the button after writing the email, सब हाथ कांप गया, ऐसा सोचने लगे कि अभी ये बटन दबा तो like whether it is the best thing to do or should there be second consideration, feel ना, security, money, तो वो एक टेस्ट रहता है, लेकिन ठीक है दबा दिया बटन तो so that is that. Then going to parents and then they're saying beta, you're the alone son, kya hoga, everything, Sam, Dam, Dandaved, everything they use. Sam, they try to make steady, akela ladka hai, aisa relatives come. Dam, they say कि ठीक है तुम्हारे लिए यही मंदिर बना देंगे, यही भक्ति करो घर में बैठ के, and दंड हम लोग इस्कॉन के खिलाफ केस कर देंगे, हम लोग इस्कॉन को अखबार में छपवा देंगे, and भेद also, तुमको प्रॉपर्टी का कुछ हिस्सा नहीं मिलेगा, सब बाकी लोगों को बांट देंगे. So Sam, Dam, Dandaved, all they apply. And sometimes we are rising above it, sometimes we have to go through a struggle. फिर आश्रम में आ जाते हैं तो अलग अलग स्टेजेस है ना, बिगिनिंग में जॉब का, फिर पेरेंट्स का, फिर पीडीसी का स्ट्रगल, मॉनिटर ठीक है कि नहीं है, इंचार्ज ठीक है कि नहीं है, कितना साथ अटेंडेंस, लाइक चैलेंज है ना. पीडीसी पास हो तो डिपार्टमेंट अच्छा वाला मिला कि नहीं मिला, जो सोचा था वैसा निकला कि नहीं निकला. So there are things, and then sometimes health goes down, fracture हो गया, टूट गया, फूट गया, कुछ हो गया ऐसा. So there are struggles. And then depending on further situation, sometimes one kind of complication, another kind of complication, parents' health. Generally, three things will come in a brahmachari life at some point of time or other, more or less. Ek to, some challenge will come. Either some people will face difficulty with the authority, mind will get terribly disturbed, or some people will face difficulty from some Mataji. वो दोनों में से एक option generally आता है. Somebody catches and sends a message or call or something. Doesn't happen so quickly. थोड़ा temple में establish हो जाता है, फिर होता है. So it happens then. और कुछ ऑथोरिटी के साथ नहीं बनता है, उसने कुछ बोला, इसने कुछ बोला, और हमने उसको चूज किया था लेकिन जम नहीं रहा है, काउंसलर के साथ नहीं जम रहा है, कुछ ना कुछ थोड़ा डिस्टर्ब्स द हार्ट, मेंटल एजिटेशन हो जाता है. दूसरा आता है कि when the parents health is bad and they will leave sometime or other, then it's like mentally very agitating, disturbed. कभी सिस्टर का डाइवोर्स हो जाता है, कभी पेरेंट का इशू आ जाता है, तो फैमिली वाले बहुत डिस्ट्रैक्ट कर देता है, इट बिकम्स हैवी. Because by practice of bhakti, the heart becomes soft, and then we try to sympathize more with people than other times. जो लोग अपनी दुनिया में बिजी हैं वो तो चलता है, लेकिन हम लोगों को टाइम रहता है ना, टाइम रहता है, सॉफ्टनेस ऑफ हार्ट भी रहता है, तो वी गेट समटाइम मोर इन्वॉल्व एंड मोर अफेक्टेड देन इवन अवर अदर ब्रदर्स एंड सिस्टर्स. एंड थर्ड थिंग इज अपना खुद का हेल्थ डाउन हो जाता है, तो we get varieties of problems, sicknesses, and mind becomes very agitated. So usually these three challenges come in every brahmachari life sometime or other. So Krishna removes the sinful reactions, but can use them as per his discretion to purify the devotee. क्योंकि अलग-अलग level पे अलग-अलग test आके क्या है कि then devotee goes one step up, one step up. We don't learn so much in classes, so much in courses, so much even in writing, open book and closed book examination, as much as we learn when we go through these challenging situations in life. उस time में पूरा एकदम philosophy सामने रहता है. So we have to now either we have to believe the philosophy or we have to listen to the mind and get distracted. We have to decide, and then we convince ourselves कि नहीं Prabhupada ने बोला है. That time we get a experience of living by the philosophy and absorption in that, and then we are able to overcome that. So Krishna takes charge of the devotee's sinful reaction and use the devotee's sinful reaction for the best benefit of the devotees. So in this way, the devotee is freed, but not freed also. Yes. So, and this is from the Anukampa Susamikshamana's purport, where he's giving the hint that a devotee may still maintain in his mind the remnant of his previous sinful mentality. And the Lord removes the last vestiges of the enjoying spirit by giving his devotee punishments that may sometimes resemble sinful reaction. But for a devotee, practicing devotee also, that is all coming from Krishna. One should not say that only when I come to the level of Bhava, Prema, then only Krishna interferes. No. Even at the level of sadhana, Krishna takes charge. Actually, Krishna is in charge at all times through Maya Devi, Maya Dyakshina Prakritiya or Mam Maya Durataya. But for a practicing devotee also, Krishna is personally in picture. How much we can see him, that depends on how much we are personally connected to him, how much we have personal faith in him, and how much we desire to see his hand behind our situations. So although a devotee surrendered to the Lord's devotion service until he is completely perfect in Krishna consciousness, he may maintain a slight inclination to enjoy the false happiness of this world. The Lord therefore created a particular situation to eradicate this remaining enjoying spirit. This unhappiness suffered by a sincere devotee is not technically a karmic reaction. It is rather the Lord's special mercy for inducing his devotee to completely let go of the material world and return home back to God. So all these three challenges, when they come, they take us to a high level of consciousness where we can actually rise above the conditional state and be more advanced in that. Why one suffers? The avidya causes material desire, it leads to papam, it leads to suffering. And we can see the suffering coming from past life in the form of chronic disease, ugly feature, low birth, legal complications, etc. So three causes, as we read, that papam, bijam, avidya. Avidya is the root cause, material desire, seed, and then sin, papam happen, and then there is suffering. So when the sinful action is performed, papam, then there is a aprarabdha, and there is a prarabdha, manifest reaction. And then aprarabdha also, that unmanifest reaction in next lifetime, or further it causes a sinful tendency, kutam. Vasana it creates. The kutam is like unnoticeable, we can't even detect it. And then it leads to further suffering also in the next life, turns into that. Like the development of a seed into a sprout and full-fledged plant. So this is from Padma Purana. We recited that day, aprarabdha phalam papam, kutam bijam phalon mukham. Krameneva praliyate Vishnu Bhakti Ratatmanam. Four kind of sinful effect is not yet fructified. Aprarabdha phalam, that will come in the next life. And kutam, bijam, and phalon mukha comes. Seed and effect which is mature and the effect which is almost mature. So papam causes aprarabdha of suffering and proclivity. That's and Prabhupada gives examples of disease, how the disease is caused. I'm not going into that. This is shown multiple times, but here the cycle is like papam leads to aprarabdha, unmanifest reaction, which will have one manifest component, phalonmukha, and then it's kutam bijam, and then again bijam leads to papam. And it begins from avidya. Avidya gives the first sinful desire that I should enjoy separate from the Lord. And then it causes the sinful action, called the prarabdha, and then it leads to suffering on one side, and then it continues the cycle by giving kutam, sinful disposition. Yeah. So this example is given into, I think, Bhakti Samrat Sindhu is given. That somebody had the sinful tendency where he thinks, should I steal the money? And then he gets a desire which becomes more consolidated, visible, that yes, he makes a plan, I will steal the money on this date. And then he does stealing, a prarabdha. And then he is caught and punished, that is prarabdha, that is a manifest sinful reaction. And the tendency to steal money, it becomes more stronger, that is kutam. Similarly, it applies to the illicit sex, what Prabhupada gives the example. A general lust is enjoying tendency, and then when one makes a full plan, that becomes desire, that, and then unmanifest reaction, manifest reaction. So brahmachari is also, most of the time, most of the brahmacharis will fail the lust issue. So till the time it is there in the kutam form, it's there, general, all pervading, but there's no specific object of enjoyment. So one should see that it never gets into the zone of, getting condensed to some specific object. A general lust is there to habit on nature, to see the woman and feel that woman can give enjoyment. That's there, and that will go away gradually only, because kutam. But when the kutam turns into bijam, when one becomes attracted to a particular girl, coming every day, standing here every day, seeing this, that, and all, then it becomes bijam. Then the bijam will sooner or later turns into papa. Kutam to papam, there's a junction of bijam. And we have to function in such a way that kutam doesn't turn into bijam. So that is why there's so much of restriction of brahmacharis interacting with congregation or matajis. And Vaishnava is quite conservative and quite strict about it. And it's very safe. Because what happens, the general lust is there with everyone. But when you get to interact with families and go there, and they have sometimes children, and sometimes neighbors come, and sometimes, it's a very intimate talk. It's not like a formal class where you are sitting and here. Even prasadam serving by grasta is quite, it's a loving exchange. Class is also a kind of exchange, but they are sitting far, you're sitting here. It's a public assembly, they're not so much of love reciprocated. When you go to home, then people's emotions are more high than in temple. So then, that's general all-pervading lustful mentality which is there, now it may get condensed. One may come close to a family, or one may develop some interaction with some mataji, and then, it may grow further, that it may turn into bijam. So if brahmacharis are careful to not allow kutam to turn into bijam, they're very safe. Kutam is there. Kutam, one doesn't have kutam, one is a very exalted person. It's not so easy. But kutam to bijam, that's a matter of our choice. That's a matter of our lifestyle. Right? To not become specifically, because then once we get connected, and then, then it becomes very difficult. Once bijam comes, the desire comes, specific things come, then it will lead to papa. Then further things, phone calls, or writing, or meeting, or this or that. So many things may happen. So one should be, ensure that kutam is there, and one should try to dissolve that kutam and try to remove those vasanas by creating new desires. As Prabhupada says, the devotee fills his mind with so many spiritual desires that the material desires go away, rather than giving shape, giving vent, and turning them into some kind of desires, bijam for that. So that's a safe path, but if a devotee is not careful, then it becomes troublesome for that. As I was telling previously, these things all happen after 8-10 years in ashram. Till 8-10 years, you are unknown. What you are, where you are, how you are, only you know and your roommates know. And they also don't bother. After 8-10 years, when you come to saffron and people see you are steady, then the congregation start knowing and connecting to you. That's the time when we also start thinking that abhi to main tik gaya, mature ban gaya. Now I can bless the children, I can do annaprashan for the children, I can give blessing to the newly wedded couples. Agni Devi, bro, when Prachin Varishad was getting married, Agni was there in between, he got agitated. You can read the past time in Srimad Bhagavatam. Agni Dev got agitated, although he had a wife Swaha. When Prachin Varishad was getting married, his wife was so beautiful. So Devatas, they get, we hear oftentimes so much they get attracted. So we are not the people, to bless the young couples and arrange marriages for them. All the congregation will start coming. When they see saffron, they see you as a sannyasi only. They see like, तो प्रभु जी हैं आप प्योर डिवोटी हो गए. Yellow मतलब कनिष्ठ, white मतलब मध्यम, saffron मतलब उत्तम. That is their calculation. That is their nectar of devotion description. And for us, it's not like that. So one may start feeling like that, it becomes very risky and difficult with that. So be safe, better, and keep away from congregation while keeping respect. It is not to be disrespectful, because aversion to Mataji is another problem that will also not lead to any good. So aversion is not the prescription. Just keep and let them remain in their world and we remain in our world, and just let the world go on. What's the problem? And then also if somebody may just step in and does something, at least because we have no plans, no? So we just go and tell our in charge, ये मैसेज भेजा किसी ने, तुरंत राधेश्याम तुरंत लगा, हरे कृष्णा राधेश्याम दास स्पीकिंग, तुरंत हो गया. अभी आपको दोबारा कॉल नहीं आएगा. One of two of our brahmacharis, often somehow maybe they're very extra sincere, so Mataji get attracted or whatever. So they get, but they're very honest and transparent. So they just come and tell Radheshyam, they are safe. Otherwise, if one writes on his own, Mataji, please don't trouble me, I'm a brahmachari, then yes, Prabhuji, I will not trouble you anymore further, all this kind of thing. So Kutam should not turn into Bijam. Rather, we should flood it with so many positive desires and vasanas that it be drowned on in that ocean. Tolerate the sinful desire and do not try to satisfy the sinful urges. That's how we tolerate. And roots of avidya and beej of material desire can be destroyed only by devotional service. So this is the 5 stages. Prarabdha phala can be the suffering fruit in this life. They can be destroyed by yajna, dana, tap also. Papa karma, sinful activities, which lead to papa phala, that can be stopped with tapas, brahmacharya, etc. Tapasa brahmacharya, shamena, damenava. That verse is spoken for jnana yoga, that how one can give up sinful activities. Bija, by jnana and ashtanga yoga, one can burn the material desire seeds by going opposing to them. But kuta, the sinful proclivity which gives rise to sinful desire, that only Bhakti to Lord Krishna can counter. Wahan tak yajna, dan, tap, karma, jnana, kuch nahi ja sakta. Proclivity remains. Unless one becomes. Why? Because there's no alternative. Na? There's no change of identity. I am a jnani, I am a yogi, I am a siddha. So because that false identity is there, then these things are just there below the surface. They again come up. But what happens in the process of bhakti, identity only changes. I am Krishna's servant. So now the proclivities tend to change. Now I am a servant, then I should act as servant. And we are told, so we cultivate different kutam, different proclivities now. While on the path of others, there are some prescriptions, yama, niyama and all, but they are very superficial. Bhakti goes to the heart, it changes the attitude, it changes the proclivity. And avidya is what? The basic avidya is not knowing our true identity. So that can be uprooted only by bhakti. Kechita kevaraya bhaktya vasudeva parayana. Agam dhunvanti kashneya niharam eva bhaskaram. Kechit kevalaya bhakta. After speaking everything is kechit kevalaya bhakta. Only pure devotion service can uproot. No other thing. They can't touch. Kutam and avidya is beyond the purview of karma, jnana, yajna, dana, tap and everything. So this is about papam. We read that a dog eater can become qualified to perform Vedic sacrifices. So the mature sinful activity also, like prarabdha, it can be nullified by the devotion service. Like Vasudev leper, Vasudev the leper, no? We heard about him. Mahaprabhu embraced him and made him perfectly okay. Legal implication. Shyam Sundar Prabhu and Malti Matai, they were taken to jail, and that was like for several years they were supposed to be punished for drug trafficking. They got released within 2-3 months only. And that he described this incident in Chasing Rhinos with the Swami very nicely, that what was the case and how things happened. They came to Prabhupada, no? Prabhupada, where are you going? He said, we are going to jail. Not a problem. Krishna was born in the jail. And then he says, why you are being arrested? He said, we were dealing with the drugs actually. I was also a drug dealer before I came. So then they came back and Prabhupada said, yeah, I was thinking that it's too long of a time, and I was feeling separation. Like within, like unexpectedly, within just a couple of months, they were released. So by the mercy of pure devotee, things can change. Born in low degraded family, Western devotees, although they are not into degraded family, but they degraded themselves. They were not from degraded family, but they degraded. They were not taking bath. They were just lying dirty and all. But Prabhupada blessed them. And, do you know that incident? The Radharan Pujari told that this time you serve nicely and the next time you'll be born into Brahmana family and you will get his opportunity to serve the deity. And Prabhupada told you, go back and you bless him. He said, this time you worship the deity nicely, next time you'll get, birth in some ISKCON devotee's house and get an opportunity to preach like that. Uneducated is a South Indian Brahmana. He achieved the goal of life. We don't even know his name, but what we know is that he perfected his life by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And very ugly, Kubja was ugly, but Krishna blessed her. So, devotion service therefore has the power to actually nullify all kind of reaction to sinful deeds. So this is the main attitude for a sadhaka. This is sadhaka verse, not a siddha verse. Sadhaka has to practice this, has to cultivate this attitude. Tatte anukampam susamikshamano bunjana evatma kritam vipakam tadvag vapurvir vidhan namaste jiveteyo mukti padesa. So we know that we're not going. Question? Yeah.
We discussed that when a person surrenders to Krishna, then Krishna takes away the reactions and then utilizes them for him to advance in bhakti. And then we discussed various types of challenges that Krishna puts so that we can advance in bhakti. So sometimes we see that because of those challenges, the person doesn't advance. He like loses the opportunity to advance. Like different examples you give. So how does that happen? Is that like miscalculation on the part of like Krishna? That
No. You see, any college you enter, any class you study, everyone knows there will be tests coming at the end of the semester. And during the semester, a person is given that knowledge, classes are there, practicals are there. All this is there, but still different people perform differently in the same examination. Right? Because they may not use that opportunity to study. So some fail, some get, good grades, some get average grades. So depending on how they have endeavored, in a usual sense, sometimes there are cases when people work hard and don't get what they deserve. Sometimes people don't do. I'm talking of an average, a logical part. So similarly, somebody has got an opportunity to practice devotion service. But now if he does not take that opportunity to go deeper, understand the principle, makes a connection with the Lord, and when the test comes, then he becomes shaken up. So that is not the fault of the Lord. But that is going to show, that is also good in one way. Even failing in an exam is a good way to know that I am not passed it. I need to work hard for that. So the great, mercy of the Lord, or the great, what you can say, benediction for us is that Krishna never gives a test which the devotee cannot pass. He gives it which is within the range, because different people get different tests at different time.
But still
Now-
some devotees are unable to pass.
Yeah, so that they have to take responsibility. At least they take responsibility that I'm not prepared and I failed, then they can pass next time. But imagine a person failed in the exam and he said, teacher ne test paper katin banaya. So what you can do? You can't go and challenge the teacher, na? Other people pass the same test. Right? So yes, you may have a different background, you may be slow in study, but the fact that you are in the same class goes that there is some normal thing, na? See, you're in the same class goes to show that irrespective of what background you came, you had a certain level of equality in terms of the availability of the resources and the studies. Now they passed and we didn't pass. That means apart from whatever may be the past, we did not study well in that cross section of time what we were given to us. Otherwise, why did we come to college? No? If I was less intelligent and they are more intelligent, but we are equal, no? That we are in the same class.
Like in that example of class and examination, the examination is on a general level, like
Correct.
it is class wise, it is not individual.
Correct.
But Krishna deals individually with devotees, no?
Right.
So
Individual devotees, because the spiritual advancement of devotees at different plane is different. So yeah, sometimes it may appear to us that a very advanced test is being given to a very younger devotee. Sometimes it may appear like that. It's not what a test, it's a young devotee. Why? But then we should have faith in Krishna's discrimination, that if he has given the test, then he has confidence that he has prepared him for that. He has given him the chance to prepare that he can pass. And sometimes it may take a little time to pass the examination. It is not like a 2 hours exam. As I was telling the story of Parashambu's daughter, it took her some time to really accept the test. Ye test hai. But once accepted, then she rose above it, and then you see 2 sannyasis coming in the funeral ceremony. First time in this Katraj crematorium, sannyasis have stepped in and purified the entire place. And first time in last 10 years, I saw 2 more bodies coming in the 2 or 3 bodies coming in the same time. I never seen, maybe 1 more body comes in that. And all 3 of them got Ganga Jal and Radha Kund Jal, Dhul. Because devotees are merciful, na? To bole, ye bhi gas, koi bhej dete. So yeah, it is not, it may look like that he's failing, but actually, even in that time, he had that opportunity to make arrangement in such a way that, he can, pass it. It's possible, even in that situation, because not like an exam where 2 hours and gone. It's like exam, the test has come. Now, if he goes to senior devotee, take shelter, take guidance, then he can pass it on. But we have to have faith in Krishna's discrimination, because yeah, at a general level, it may look like that sometimes the tests are tough for the people and they're not prepared for it. But when, we believe that. And the reason, the proof is, Prabhupada writes at 4 different places. The other day, Saturday, I took a seminar on that. 4 different places. Direct in contradiction. You see, test appears to be more tough than what it should be in our context. But then Prabhupada said Krishna is more eager. So how do you reconcile both the things? You can't reconcile both the things. If Krishna is more eager, then why should he put such a thing which is so? Keeping faith in Acharya's word, we can always assure that our senses are defective. Right? So we all felt that the test which has come in the life of this girl is like very tough. Even the great people may not be able to survive 10 years on bed. And passed it, and she proved that she is much more better than practically most of the devotees, because her consciousness became so advanced. So sometimes when these things come, then Krishna also reveals the glory of those devotees, and the devotees take full shelter and grow up much more faster than at any other time. His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj said that I have not been able to do as much preaching as in my last 35 years as I have done in the last 6 months. So sometimes things may not look exactly as per our understanding, logical understanding, but Krishna has a plan. And if a devotee takes shelter, then, he'll always be protected. He'll always be coming successful out of the test. It's for sure. And that means Krishna arranges the association, the guidance, but he has to take advantage. No? If he doesn't take advantage, that's his choice. That's his choice. But the arrangement of Krishna is always perfect. It's always for our good in all circumstances. That faith should be there.